been a while.
It's been a while
We've
again.
been to Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
And now we're going to get there less yet. So.
Now that Landon isn't there.
I know you come out, but we're just a 1 mile through club.
Oh, yeah. Someday you won't.
Yeah.
Feels good in here.
Yeah, I turned it down. Down far enough.
Yeah.
Hear the smoke.
The bodies do create these.
Yeah, they. Oh, yeah. So they started any construction over there yet? Or?
I'm not sure. They have a building committee right now. And I suppose it will take about a year before they start. Lots of planning.
Yeah, we planned out.
set up this round table.
I'll sit here with you. I'll just get our stuff. So we'll sit here.
All right. I think we'll get our evening underway. On behalf of Uncle Charles's family and Junior's family, we'd like to welcome each one of you here this evening. We've done some planning for the weekend. Hope you all enjoy it. I feel like an old milk cow walking in tall grass. I'm utterly tickled to be here. And we are utterly tickled to have each one of you folks here to share this weekend with us. This afternoon I was out checking cows and family reunion, you gotta think of something to say up here, and thought, oh, you know, a lot of us have lost our parents. There's always little sayings that you remember your parents by, something they said or that you remember. Anyway, for some reason, the first one that came to mind, once in a while Dad would make a suggestion I did something, sometimes a strong suggestion, and I'd grumble and complain a little bit, and finally he'd just say, well, I can't make you do it, but I can sure make you wish you had. So that was pretty much the end of the conversation. So, I would just ask that if you have not picked up a name tag, that you pick one up at the table here, and if you haven't paid for this evening's meal, that you would please do that. After the meal, there will be a short little program, and then after the program, we're going to have some ice cream. You can't have a Wolbrink gathering without some ice cream, so we will have that afterwards. I don't know what we are having tonight. Some will be having dinner, some will be having supper, but Colette has a meal for us, whatever you want to call it. So, I guess I would like to open with prayer, and then if everyone would please join me in the doxology, please. Shall we pray? Our Father in heaven, we come to you this evening. We just thank you for all the blessings that you have given to this family over the years. There's a great heritage in this family. We have numbers spread all over the world, And it is great that a number of us can gather here to reminisce, to reunite, and to even meet some relatives for the first time. And we just ask that you would be with us through this weekend. We thank you for the safety that you have given to the people who have driven many miles to get here. We thank you for that. And now we thank you for this food that we are about to eat. We ask that you would bless it unto our bodies. Bless the fellowship this evening. We pray this in Jesus' name. Amen. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise Him, all creatures here below. Praise Him, all of ye heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. Okay. For eating, we will pick up salads first. If you come from the west, pick up a salad, pick up a drink, and then when you're done with your salad, then you can go back and pick up your warm food. So, Aunt Sarah, you are the aunt of the original family here, so I'm going to let Aunt Sarah's family at table go first. So you go ahead.
Well, anyway, Mom and Dad, Sarah, of course, and this is part of the family. And if I would have told my family, which I got most of them here this time, that this was going to happen, they probably wouldn't have showed up. So, so that's a little bit of a surprise maybe to them. But anyway, I'm Daryl, I'm the oldest, my wife Margene, and then we got Roxy right there, and her husband Sean, and her son Jager are not here, but her oldest daughter Samantha is over there, and then we have the twins, Desi and Gabby, we call them. They're pitcher and catcher on a team, and I don't know, I was watching Gabby, and she winds up and gives it to Desi, and they do a good job, so. And then we have Ken and Nikki and Zoe and Garrett over there. Oh, Roxy lives up at Del Rapids, north of Del Rapids, and Ken's there at Marshall, Minnesota. And then Cindy and Joel live in Corsica, and their daughter Cassie. Did I get everybody? I think so. Merle's next to them. Just the two of us, Berlin and Lorraine from Sioux Falls.
Larry and Bonnie Vanderleyen, we're solo, our duet tonight. The rest of the kids are not here, so out of our bunch. Carrie, maybe she'll remember that, and they'll be with you around tomorrow, so hopefully you can see them
And Katie's family is not here this evening. I think Andy and Marilyn are coming tomorrow. So next will be Gideon's family.
I'm the third child. And Jamie, we talked to her last night, and she sends her greetings and wishes she could be here, but it didn't work out for them to come this year. And I didn't talk to Paul, but oh, okay. Paul says hi. And this is Martha, and that's her husband, Michael, and this is my husband, Joe, who we picked up from Sioux Falls Airport this afternoon because
I'm more of a roommate.
don't ask. I retired, but he didn't. And Mom is wonderful. She's 92. She still mows her own lawn.
next we'll do Aunt Nellie's family. I don't know, I think I got them in order, don't I, or have I got them messed up? Okay, Aunt Nellie's family.
We're close. Can you see it? You are not taking those.
What?
Are you taking those pictures of the? Can't hardly see them. Can you?
All right, well, I guess since I'm the oldest, I get the honor of doing this. Yes, I am Harold. And my wife, Carol, we are, yeah, she's got a bad foot, broke a bone a couple of weeks ago. That some of you have already heard that story, but anyway, let's give it to Sarah now. Okay, we have 2 daughters, and we have just driven 1,700 miles this week from California, seeing our younger daughter, Crystal. And Paula and her family do hope to be here maybe later tomorrow evening. That they've got floor rapes and all kinds of things going on, so, but that's, hope to see that you can see that. I didn't know that this was a contest. I didn't know this was a contest. Okay, we just have 2 homes with wheels and 2 without.
I'm Sarah, the oldest of the 5 girls, and this is my son Steve, and he and his family live on the farm.
How many kids do
I have 2 girls who aren't here. Martin and Sherilyn and family live in Princeton, New Jersey. And Keith and Sheila and girls live in Holland, Michigan, or Zealand.
Well, I'm Dorothy, but now in between would be Mary Ann.
She sends her greetings.
She does send her greetings. She would have loved to have been here, but not able to make it. So my husband Wayne, we live outside Brush Prairie, Washington, which is right across the river from Portland, Oregon. Because who's heard of Brush Prairie? It's kind of out in the boonies. And we have 2 children, the oldest Sterling and his wife, and 6 kids live in Laguna Hills, California, and Chad and Heather, and their 2 little ones live in Portland. So we get to see them now and then.
I'm Harriet. I'm next in line. We live in Kelso, Washington, and we have 2 children. Our oldest is in New York, and that's where we're headed next week. We're planning to drive a few more miles. And our youngest son just got married, and he lives in the Tri-Cities of Washington. And our youngest is Darlene, and she is not here tonight. Would love to have been here, but they're not.
Then he wants a photo. Get it.
Okay. I thought you like each other.
best to add. I forgot to introduce my dear husband, Ken.
More of a roommate.
Better late than never, say.
Next, Uncle John's family.
Everybody knows who I am. I'm Irene, and this is my husband, Matt. And we had a birthday party just a couple weeks ago for Harlan's birthday, and for our whole family, there were 37. We didn't do very well tonight.
I'm married. Yes, I am. I'm a middle child. I'm married, and this is my husband, Denny. And we live in Corsica. Did you see me?
Oh, we live in Springfield, South Dakota.
And we have 4 children. Brian and Renee and family live in Clarkson, and Scott and Lauren family live in Platte. And Justin and Pam and 2 girls live in Summit, South Dakota, which is a little town. We live in Watertown. And Michael and his fiance live in Omaha. They were married in October. And nothing's changed since last.
8 grandkids.
Oh, we have 8 grandkids, yes, that's changed. Yeah. But otherwise, nothing's changed since 3 years ago. Status quo on our end.
Matt, you want to say something?
23 years ago last Friday, it was a warm evening. 23 years ago last Friday, it was a warm evening in Harrison.
I'm Harlan, youngest of the family, but not spoiled. They say I was, but I'm not. I want to get that straight. My wife Bonnie, and we haven't celebrated yet, have we? No, we're getting close to 40 years. Hopefully we'll be celebrating that in August. And we have 4 children. Our oldest, okay. Tammy and her husband Heath live in Rock Valley. They have 2 kids. Stephanie, our daughter Stephanie, and her husband Chris live in Champaign, Illinois, and they have 2 children. Our son Chad lives in San Francisco, and our son Ryan lives in Harrisburg, which is just outside of Sioux Falls, with his wife, and they have 3 children, so we have a total of 7 grandchildren. 4 children, 7 grandchildren. And we're still on the farm by Mud Lake. So.
There's a lot of light refraction coming up the top of you guys' heads. Take the picture, Joe. I think I have to turn on the flash.
There, did we break it?
Thank you.
Next will be Uncle Garrett's family.
everybody. I'm Steve, and I was just thinking this is probably the only time I've introduced myself where I don't have to tell you my last name, much less spell it. So, but my wife Diana, and I guess I'm the 5th in line, but the oldest one, well, the oldest sibling of Garrett's up here. But anyway, we have 2 children, Chris and Jeff. They're both still in college at South Dakota State. And we're from Mitchell.
I'm the 6th in line. Gary, they're on vacation possibly, but anyway, this is my husband John. We have, we live by Mount Vernon, not very far, and we have 3 kids. They both live in Sioux Falls. They're both out of college and working. And then we have Courtney, who is 16, and she'll be a junior. And she would have been here, but she had her tonsils out last week, and she doesn't feeling very good. So, okay, that's about it. So, hopefully some of Arlene's kids will be here tomorrow. I haven't really heard, but hopefully.
All right, Uncle William's family.
The tradition here is we're starting with the youngest. Well, I'm David, and this is my wife, Rosie. And our kids are Japan and Minneapolis area, and near us, we live in Slinger. That's in Wisconsin. And Milwaukee. Kids are Vic and Jill are in Japan because he's working for the Corps of Engineers now. And they're working, taking care of the buildings in that part of the world, the military buildings.
Yeah, Ruth will be here at least some tomorrow. She had a retreat that they're part of, so she plans to be at least around tomorrow, sometime, I understand. So I'm Adrian, number 3 in line, and my wife Fran. Got to remember that this time. And we have 3 boys. You going to help me decide? We have 3 boys. Michael actually, he is on his way home tomorrow from Ghana. You know, a bit of a mission trip that they're doing there. Otherwise, he wanted to come with his 2. He has 2 children. The one of which is our granddaughter. Rachel is 20 years old, and for 20 years I've been telling her that she's my favorite granddaughter. But then Alex is our second son, and they're actually in Dallas, but they're in San Francisco this weekend because his wife is running a marathon there to get out of the heat, I think, from Dallas a little bit. And then our third one, Daniel, and they now live in La Crosse, Wisconsin area, and his wife Rose. And then it's Gideon Antone. Antone is Rose's grandfather's name. And then it's Josiah William, And then
William.
Elsa June, so I can't say, I gotta change that favorite granddaughter a little bit for the past year as of this weekend. And June is Fran's mother's name. They live in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
I'm the youngest and I'm not spoiled either. But I did become a minister because when you're the youngest, you never get a word in edgewise. But when you're a minister, you can get up in the pulpit and nobody ever saw it again. Except for my wife, Candy. We have 2 children, Jeff and Rhonda. Jeff, at 43, got married just a year ago. And so there's always hope for. And he's living in Portsmouth and his wife up in Princeton, New Jersey. But it looks like they're gonna be down in Portsmouth within a couple months. So he's happy about that. Our daughter lives right close to us. We live in Newport News, Virginia. And daughter lives right across the James River. And with her husband and 3 grandchildren. And I moved to Newport News because Candy was going to go there whether I went or not. Because the grandchildren are there. And if any of you ever want to come and see the original settlement, continuous settlement in the United States, come to Jamestown Settlement, and I'm acting as docent there right now.
Josiah wants to turn on the microphone.
Uncle Charles family. Come on up, Arnie. You even get to talk on the microphone. I told him he had to do this job. He said he never talked in the microphone yet. So we'll see how he does.
Hi, everybody. I'm Charles's eldest, and I'm the eldest granddaughter, and the eldest living cousin. My husband and I just had our 55th wedding anniversary this past summer. He's not here because he's basically an invalid, has health problems. We have 3 children. The oldest lives in Orange City, Iowa, where I live. Our only son, Brian, is in Phoenix, Arizona. Brenda, the oldest, has 3 children and 2 grandchildren, so we have 2 great-grandchildren. And Brian has 2 kids and lives in Phoenix, and Jocelyn is in Denver, and one of her daughters just got married in June. What else? That's enough, I think.
And I'm Frances, and most of you know me because I live around here. I live right in Stickney. And I have 3 children. The oldest one is Dan, or Daniel. Danny, we call him. And his wife and Kayleen, and they have 2 children, and they live on our farm just like a mile and 3/4 west of town here from the co-op. And then we have David and Judy, and they live in Michigan, Dorr, Michigan, and they have 2 children. And then we have Dawn, and she lives in Aberdeen, and she has 2 children. And so I have 6 grandchildren now, and 1 great-grandchild.
I'm Arnie, and my wife Bernetta, and we live out on the farm, and we have 2 boys. Joel lives between us and Harlan out there, and he has 2 children, a boy and a girl. And Nathan, our youngest son, lives right in town here. He has 3 girls, and so we have 5 grandchildren. Anything else?
I think that does it for the family introductions. Uncle Richard's family is not able to be here this evening. Next thing, I'm going to turn it over to Phyllis to do the program with the wedding dresses. Tell about Matt.
Just show up.
Did I get it? Okay. Okay, tonight, we had asked if you had a wedding dress of your mother to bring along her wedding attire. It's kind of interesting seeing the history, and I guess for me, it's interesting seeing the dresses, so we've got them displayed here. We're going to start from the youngest here, because Afton is actually going to model Mom's wedding dress here. So, I think she's got it on already, so we'll have her just come out. I hope it's a few years before she has to wear one. Anyway, this was Mom's wedding dress. Dad's suit is hanging here. And this was the bridesmaid's dress. Mom and Dad got married November 17 of 1959, and the weather was really bad at that time. At the Grace Reformed Church in Corsica, and Uncle Gideon actually did the wedding. And she said there was 4 pastors there, because Uncle Gideon was there, Uncle William, and each had been Mom's pastor from her church and Dad's pastor from his church. So, and then they had the reception at the church basement. A week later, then they had a reception with the young people, also at a hall there in Corsica. Mom bought her dress for $71. That guy from Mitchell. So, as far as the story, Mom and Dad's first date, I guess they were at, Mom was at Len and France's wedding. And she had gone with her sister Mary Ann, who was there because she was engaged to a relative of France's, I believe is how it was. And so anyway, Mom had gone along with Mary Ann to the wedding, and Dad was there.
And Dad had asked Mom if he could give her a ride home that night. So that was actually the first time together, being together. It was very, very foggy that night, and so they followed Mom's sister Mary Ann home. And between Stickney and Corsica, there was a drunk driver on the road who killed Mary Ann. Had it not been that Dad would have been there, taking Mom home, Mom would have been in that car also. So, anyway, that is something we had to share. Other people, I'm sure many of you were probably there, you remember things of the wedding, maybe you could share things. I know maybe we learned some things too. So, anyway, this was Mom's. Okay. Okay, thank you, Ashley. Okay, next, Aunt Sarah, I don't know, are you gonna get up and talk, or is one of your family, or is Bonnie getting done? She's getting dressed. Okay, Bonnie is going to model. Is she ready? Otherwise, we can go to somebody else. You're gonna model.
Do you want to try it?
Okay, we're going to skip on to the next one. So that would be Katie. Now we do have Aunt Katie's dress here. It is hanging here. Andy and Marilyn had Aunt Katie's dress. I don't know much about this. Aunt Sarah maybe could share a little more with us. They got married, I did look that up, in May of 1946, but I don't know where they got married or any of that.
Well, they got married at home.
Yeah.
At our place.
Okay, tell them where they didn't hear you. Where did they get married?
They got married at home, where we live.
Did the wedding, do you know? Did their pastor?
I'm not sure about that. I think either, maybe both of them had part in the wedding. I know I was the pianist. And I don't know if they had any solo or anything. I don't remember that. I could tell another thing. We just had it was May 22, and we had a terrible hard frost just a week or so before Charlie and Katie's wedding, and we never forget that frost because even the leaves on the trees froze.
That was in May.
And that was in May 22. Boy, I don't know if I can tell you
Was
much
Charlie
more.
in the service, and then was he in the service here?
Yes.
Did he just come home, or what was the
I
deal
think
there?
he came home about a year before they were married. But I know-
He spent a lot of time on New Guinea when he was in the service. And he made those ornaments out of the different size shelves, ashtrays and decorative ornaments. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think I saw some of them, yeah.
At their house after they were married.
Oh, sure.
He sent them home and
Uh-huh.
Okay. Thank you, Aunt Sarah. Okay. Next we have Gideon's family. Somebody want to get up and tell us, or Aunt Lorraine, do you want to get up and tell us about where you got married, when you got married, where you got married, anything, any stories? How did you and Gideon meet? Okay, we'll turn it.
Mom does have a story. But I'll just tell you, they got married January 15, 1944. Dad was already in the service. And his junior year, he'd gone to Pella to Central College. And Mom had been there also, and that's where they met. And he was, I think, home on furlough, and had gone back to Central. and decided he wanted a date with someone. Mom was teaching school at the time, and so he called her. And they really didn't have a phone in the apartment that she was staying with her girlfriends, who were also teachers. But somehow she got to this phone, and Dad said, well, could you meet me in Pella this weekend? She said, no, I don't have any money. I already spent it going to visit my sister. Well, then she went back and told her girlfriends about it, and they said, what? You're not going to meet Gideon? The person you liked all this time will loan you the money. And so they did, and somehow Mom and Dad rendezvoused that weekend, and that was the beginning of their relationship. And I do have a funny story about her wedding dress. When we found the note about the wedding dress, the Karen said, I called Mom and I said, oh, find your wedding dress, we'll take it out. Okay, she was going to do that. So I arrived there, I drove out on, I guess last Monday I arrived, and I said, did you find your dress? Well, no, but she was hopeful. She had spent the last 5 years cleaning out every closet and cupboard in the house because she wanted it tidy so that she didn't burden us kids eventually. But somehow she remembered seeing that dress, but she had no idea where she had put it. So she thought maybe it was up in the attic. So on Tuesday we went up to the attic and we searched through the trunks and the boxes and all over the place, and there was no wedding dress. Okay, so it must be someplace else. So Wednesday I go back upstairs and open in the bedroom and open all the drawers and everything. Nope, no wedding dress. So then it leaves the downstairs. I know, oh no, I thought it was in Dad's army trunks because there's 3 of them. And Mom said, no, absolutely not. They're not in the army trunks. But I thought, oh yeah, she probably just forgot. So I go down the basement and open up all of the army trunks and no dress. Well, eventually last night, okay, after I had opened every possible drawer, I walk into the living room and there is her beautiful dress draped over this chair. And she said, look what I found. This is like 10 o'clock at night. I said, well, where in the world did you find this? Well, the whole time we had been looking for a white box, because her dress for 55 years has been in a white box. That white box had fallen apart at some point, and she had this box, big box, and a big puzzle had come in. And she had put the dress, she dumped the puzzle out and put the dress in the puzzle. And then she put the puzzle box and put the rest of the puzzles in the cupboard. And so the puzzle of the wedding dress was solved. And she remembered that, I know I put it in this cupboard, I'm just going to look through every box. Well, then I said, oh, this is fabulous, we'll bring it along. And she said, well, no, I don't think so. But it's this gorgeous dress, and you'll see it in her picture back there, and it has this beautiful, it was knit, it was a knit dress, and it has this beautiful pearl beading across the front here, and a gauze, this part of it is a gauze, and then down the back, there are all those tiny little buttons with the little embroidery hoops, and then it had like a 4-foot train to it. But the other story she told me was that she grew up in Des Moines, but she grew up in a family that didn't have a lot of money, and she wasn't really up on what you were supposed to do socially at weddings. And so the minister's wife was helping her to get ready the day of the wedding. And the minister's wife said, where's your veil? And Mom said, I'm supposed to have a veil. And the minister's wife was young and had recently gotten married, and so she said, I got mine, you can wear mine. So that was just something borrowed, and in the picture, she borrowed it from the minister's wife. But Mom has a story she wanted to tell you about a box that she brought along that is on the back table. And you'll also see a picture of Mom and Dad and Jamie, the first Christmas that Dad was back from the war. Jamie was like 9 months old, I guess, before she actually got to see Dad. But that picture was taken in December of 1945. But there's also a little box back there that has the word Belgium on it, and Mom wants to tell you the story about that.
This is such a great story, but I think you might enjoy it too. Katie was born in January, and of course Katie had after service,
or left for overseas in May. I did not know I was pregnant. So, and she wasn't born until the latter part of January. Anyway, Mom sent a telegram through the Red Cross so that he would know that he had a daughter. But that telegram never got to him. The Battle of the Bulge was over, and his outfit was given a vacation, overseas. And he went over to Belgium and sent me a box, just a jewelry box, and that's what I got, a souvenir from Belgium. Of course, there wasn't any jewelry in it. It was a memento. But when he came back from that relief period, the first morning he came into the lunchroom, and there was a stack of mail by his plate. And here was a letter from his wife. And in it was the news that he had a daughter. And this was on into March. And he evidently let out some kind of an exclamation. Came to see what it was. Oh, that calls for celebration. He went back to the kitchen, came out with a plate with 6 eggs on it. So, in a way, we teased Janie a little bit, but she was worth 6 eggs.
Thank you, Evelyn. I think, did somebody have Aunt Sarah's dress ready? Okay. I take it this is probably a great granddaughter of somebody. No? Oh, Cindy's got it on. Okay. Aunt Sarah's granddaughter then.
You have to pick up Aunt Katie's veil. I just found this out today that when Mom got married, she made her veil, and then she asked Aunt Katie if she could borrow the beads off of hers. So actually, on the pictures, you'll see these beads on this veil also. She must have given them back, which is very generous. They were up around that top headpiece.
Sarah, would you stand beside her? Oh, no, that is.
Yeah,
Well, they are about the same height, aren't they? Mom has hers in the original Feinstein's box yet, so we didn't have to worry about the puzzle box. Mom and Dad got married on December 28 of 1949, and they were married in Grandpa and Grandma's house, which would be the house that Aunt Alpha is living in, if you can imagine that. They spent the day before getting ready, setting up chairs and putting a few planks for seating. And she has a little memento booklet, and the guests are in here. So if you want to look through the guests that were there, you can do that. There's also a list of the gifts that they got. Uncle William
did the service, I believe, right? Gideon did the sermonette. Uncle William did the vows, and Gideon did the sermonette, so they were both involved. Mom got the dress from Feinstein's, and she paid $30.85. And if you look in the picture frame on the back table, the receipt is in there. So we found that when we were looking through things. Mom and Dad, there's no specific time that they can just pinpoint remembering meeting each other, because they basically went to church together. And their first date was after Christian Endeavor, which was CE, it was the young people's group. And that's when they started dating. And how long did you date? I guess I didn't ask you that.
Well, I had my diamond for a whole year.
She had her diamond for a year, which she told me today they were a little older when they started dating, so I think a year seemed like a long time, but they ended up getting married in December. Almost 2 years that they dated. She wrote a little bit about their wedding, and that's also in that picture frame if you want to take a little time and read that. That's out of her scrapbook. The reception was also held in Grandpa and Grandma's house. They had a chicken hot dish, buns, and cake. I guess kind of exciting was the chivalriers that showed up afterwards, and there must have been quite a bunch, and your brothers weren't very happy about. Junior wasn't very happy. I think he had to clean the mess up. They had tipped the brooder coop over, and I remember Paul telling me that he thought it was like Indians attacking or something. It got a little wild. So for their honeymoon, well, actually they spent the first night at home because Dad had to milk cows the next morning before they could go. But then they were in Sioux Falls for a night, and they went to Laverne, Minnesota to have their picture taken because Uncle William and Aunt Gertrude knew a photographer that they said did a good job. So they were gone 2 nights for their honeymoon, and then I suppose they had to be back to milk again. We all know what that's like. So, anything else? Oh, Dad's suit is here, if you want to look at that. And he was worried that Mom had put his tie in her quilt. She made a tie. She took apart all these ties and sewed them together and made a quilt. But lo and behold, it was in the bottom of the Feinstein box. So we were okay. The pants are here too, the cuffs, the wide legs. It's kind of neat to see.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, I guess next we have Nellie's family.
I have something first to say. They said for me to be up here, and I said, why? I wasn't there. I know nothing about this.
First of all, I'd like to say that I can remember Uncle Orville and Aunt Sarah's wedding. The first wedding I was to, I know exactly where I was sitting in the dining room on this wooden plank. And I can still picture Aunt Sarah coming down from the upstairs. And before that, we were at your house where you tried on the veil for Mom. And I was just, I can just remember that. Joyce played for our wedding, and Alan sang 2 solos. And I can remember the noise of the chivalrian afterwards. They had log chains over top of the porch or something like that. And the noise for us little kids was scary. It was. they put the log chute by the outside door. So we had to climb up the log chute to get out.
Well, we didn't decide here who was going to talk and what we were going to say. My granddaughter Erica was going to model this tonight, but she couldn't be here. Anyway, it's a button dress. The lace on top was set in, we decided. We thought maybe the neck was a little bit too big otherwise. I want to think that it cost $11 or $13, what I remember. You know, at that time, Mom was making 50 cents a day. She worked for Will Heights. And so that was quite a few days' work. But they were friends of the family, lived a couple of miles away that she worked for. Also, we have one of the shoes here. Yeah, Harriet and Darlene each have a shoe that they display it.
We each display it in our living rooms, and we each have flowers in it.
We just have one along. And also the dress, Darlene had the dress at their home on display. Actually, she had it displayed on a mannequin at one time. Mom and Dad got married February 23, 1940. Their wedding picture is in the back, and also one taken by the house. There was snow on the ground, so it was a cold day, but a sunny day, what we remember hearing. And they went to Sioux Falls overnight. Now, there was a formal picture taken at a photographer too, which I think was taken in Mitchell. Does it say that on it? But that's where we think it was. But we don't know what day before or day after. Mom and Dad grew up as neighbors. The Dykstras lived a mile west of the Wolbrinks. And they went to different schools and different churches. But the Wolbrinks and the Dykstras got together a lot. I would hear about it on Saturday night, where they exchanged papers. The men played cards. They had ball teams. So they grew up as neighbors. And Mom and Dad were both like 26 when they got married, I guess. Yeah, we have Dad's wedding suit also, but they didn't bring that. So, but she brought the dress from Portland. So, okay, I guess that's all we know.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then we have John's family. Mary, I think you're supposed to come this direction.
Wasn't Kenny going to model the dress? No.
He's welcome to. I certainly wasn't going to model the dress, as you can see. It's this dress here, and I didn't think that would probably work. And I kind of thought Irene could, but she didn't think maybe. We didn't know if we could get the buttons open, and we didn't know if it's quite, we thought quite unique for Mom. If you lift that lace up, it's just like a slip underneath. It's very, quite, we thought quite revealing. I mean, a little surprising for, so, she opted not to wear. What we didn't think was interesting was that green flower, I thought was quite something. And I don't know if you call it a flower or what, but it's a little decoration on there. And obviously, if you look at back there, there's two pictures. She has the flower on, so that actually she did wear the wedding date, that, well, fake flower, whatever you call it. But then this is the picture taken at the wedding photographer, and they all had the same bouquet at the wedding photographer because Denny's parents, his mom's bouquet looks just like this. So they didn't have big bouquets at their weddings, they just had them at the photographer. And I always thought that was interesting when I saw his parents and their wedding picture, and I thought, that looks like the same flowers Mom had. So we do have the wedding right at that all that I read. Yes, we have. But we have no idea what Dad wore. We have one green.
Mary found one green glove in the box. So I don't know if that, but she didn't have it on in the picture, so, but it did match that flower, I guess. And this, oh no, if she has much problem with an inky that day as we do. No, we don't know how many that, but they did go to the same church. And he did walk to go see her one year. At one time he went in to Harrison, didn't he go to see? I thought one time, you know, Dad walked into Harrison.
Is that what she's talking about?
Yeah, I thought one time Dad walked into Harrison to go and see Mom.
Sure. We hadn't been to church for 4 weeks or something like that because of the snowstorms, you know, all the time. And he did. He walked to Harrison to see her.
So.
And get the Sunday school papers.
Oh, and get the Sunday school papers, so that was kind of an excuse, huh? Well, that must be the story that we heard.
And it's kind of proud that Grado, he was 25 and she was only 20 when she got married, so there was a little bit of age difference.
So I don't know about dates or what really much, you know, but they did go to the same church. I know, they never really talked much about it. They were married 6 years before they had me, so I don't know. One time I heard a car salesman, Dad was buying a car in Kentucky and Sioux Falls, and one time I heard this car salesman, I always wondered that too, and maybe I would say, you know, how come you wait so long to have kids, you know, people would say. And I heard this guy, this salesman ask Dad, and he says, well, we couldn't afford them before, we couldn't afford kids before that, you know. Well, anyway, this is the write-up that was in the paper in 1938. Does it say the date? Well, it was June 2, we know that. I know. A pretty wedding took place on Thursday afternoon, June 2, at the home of Mr. and Mrs. Peter Dykesworn, which was Mom's parents, near Harrison. In fact, that's where Uncle Charlie and Aunt Katie lived, you know, all the time, and they lived by Harrison. That was the place. When their daughter, Miss Marie, was united in marriage to Mr. John E. Wolbrink, Reverend H. Hesslink of the Harrison Reformed Church officiated using the double ring ceremony. He was assisted by Reverend William Wolbrink of Monroe, South Dakota, brother of the groom. Members of the immediate families and uncles and aunts were present. The young couple entered to the strains of Wedding March, played by Miss Nellie Wolbrink, sister of the groom. The bride wore an ankle-length dress of white taffeta and silk net. The groom wore a dark suit, and we can't find that, so I don't know that. The room was attractively decorated in the bride's chosen colors of white and aqua blue. It's like, well, that's the flowers. We call it green. Following the ceremony, Mr. and Mrs. Wolbrink received the congratulations of all present. I didn't read this before. Of course, why would they say boy? You're here. A delicious two-course luncheon was served. A reception attended by the cousins of the bride and groom was held in the evening. The bridal couple are well known in this community. The bride is the only daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Peter Dyksern and has always lived in this locality. The groom is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Jacob Wolbrink. He is a graduate of Stickney High School and has been teaching in this vicinity the past few years. The newlyweds are making a short visit to various parts of Iowa, after which they will be at home on the farm northwest of Harrison. And they lived right from like Dwayne's place right down the hill, which later is called the Groom Place first. I don't remember that, but anyway.
After I found this, which took some dough going through the basement because the Wolbrink archives are still in the basement, and well, we were talking about Wolbrink's getting things done at our table, and we aren't moving too fast with those archives, but anyway, I have found the box, and then this was in there, and it actually has, Dad had got this out, because it is his writing on 1938, but then so it's right from the paper, but of course it wasn't until like, is that Monday or Sunday when Danny and I were downstairs looking for this, or Tuesday of this week?
Before yesterday.
Yeah, a little bit late anyway. And then I thought, I wish I would have thought of this earlier and gone back through all the globes to find the wedding write-ups of everyone. Because I bet all 10 were in there. So I will do that sometime, but I won't promise if it'll be before the next reunion, or if I mail it to you or anything, but because it's so interesting to me how they wrote things in those days and so on. So I'd like to hear, just what they said about all the, the little details that they put in, and I'm sure they all 10 would have been in the globe. So if I have the dates, I'll look them up.
I think it was quite different for Mom to be way out there on the farm. She ended up being with Grandma Wolbrink and so on quite a bit, I think. Yeah. I just think so.
Oh, and this is their little booklet. This is actually their wedding ceremony booklet, and it says it has the whole wedding ceremony, and it's in the old language, like, dost thou, John Wolbrink, take this woman, and it's in the old wedding ceremony. So she did keep quite a few things in her.
Yeah, and I did find their gift list too. We have that. So if you want to know what your parents gave to my parents, you can see me afterwards.
We're dragging this out way too long. There's two pictures by their wedding pictures, by these pictures. I got the achy. And that has them and all the brothers and sisters are pictured on there, and Grandpa and Grandma Dyksern and Grandpa and Grandma Wolbrink with Mom and Dad. Okay, then the next is Garrett's family. So you have something to share?
I don't know anything. Well,
I wouldn't add a thing.
Well, I should have done more research on this. I know there's a clipping somewhere at my house, but I'm not sure where it's at. So, there's a wedding picture, and I have one too. I just remember what my mom talked about. I know Aunt Katie was maid of honor, and my mom's brother Ben Neidham was the best man. I know her colors were lavender, They got married, I think, in Mom's home, you know, by Stickney, in an item home. I know dating-wise, Mom lived in Denver and worked as a maid, and they dated and wrote letters back and forth. And Dad, I think, talked her into moving back here, and then they continued dating, got married. Otherwise, Steve, you know anything else?
Well, I was at the wedding.
Oh, good, you may know more.
I don't remember too much of the wedding, but I do know that it rained all day, I think. And some went home. They had the reception in the evening. But I got to stay for supper there at your Agnes's folks' place. And I felt kind of sorry for her mother because it was such a busy day for her. And especially because people couldn't go home after the wedding, you know, and come back for the reception again.
Oh, so it's kind of congested.
It was, yeah, it was busy. So that's one memory.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
What date do they get married?
It was in June sometime. I'm not sure. Do you know what they're at? It was June like 27th or something like that. In the 30s, right?
Do you remember the date?
So, but yeah.
We're gonna remember my own name.
I know. Anyway.
Okay, then the next one is Williams family. Somebody has something to share with that.
I don't think you could expect too much when there's just the three boys here. I don't know if anyone knows where Mother's wedding dress is. I think you'd have to ask Ruth.
I just got an email from Ruth, and she said something to the effect that she thought her mother may have cut up the dress.
Did everybody hear that? That Ruth sent an email to Joyce saying that she thought maybe Mother cut the dress up. You could see by the wedding picture, which is back there, that it wasn't as traditional as these. I think it kind of stretches my expertise in fashion to say that it was a flapper dress.
Do you know where they got married?
Yeah. Yes, they got married in Pella, in what they used to call the big house in West Pella, which I was able to see last September when we went back there and got one of my Hasselman cousins to, okay, where's that house? I want to see it. And it's still there. I remember all of my life that Mother and Dad argued about what the date was, whether it was June 4th or June 6th. And I don't know whether they were trying to get out of something or... But, of course... remember any compromise. Well, that, of course, was Mother's home.
Okay, thank you. And then we had Charles' family.
We don't really have a big story to tell. But we do have Mom and Dad's wedding clothes here. And as you can see, they are very old. We want anyone to wear this because it's very fragile. And I think that there was supposed to be a jacket over the top. Well, I'm sure there was, because on the wedding picture you can see that. But I suppose that, I don't know. Joyce thinks that maybe Mom mended the dress with the jacket because under the sleeves you can see that she mended it.
I do sort of recall her saying that she had to mend under the arms because she wore this dress for a long time. After they got married, she wore it as her Sunday dress, her church dress. And they got married in November 11 of 1931, and they were very, very poor at that time. And there are a couple pictures back there. One of them is taken at Grandpa and Grandma Wolbrink's farmhouse, and the other one is a studio picture, but we don't think. The one that was at the farm was taken on November 13, 2 days after the wedding, and we don't think they had any, reception or anything. Just the parents were there. Yeah.
They were married in the Harrison parsonage, and I don't think they had any attendance or anything. Well, probably just the parents. And Reverend Ferda, Ferda married them. We know that. But other than that, oh yeah, and Mom did say, and this was in 2008 when she was still living and in the nursing home, we had like a wedding dress thing there, and so we got out Mom's wedding dress then. And she did tell us then in 2008 that she bought this dress in Armour, South Dakota. And so at that time they must have had a dress shop there, and that's where she got it. But she didn't remember how much it cost.
I recall one little comment that Dad used to make on just about every anniversary of theirs. And he would always laugh, and he thought it was a big joke. And it was kind of. He always said, we got married on Armistice Day. That's when one war quit and the other one started.
And then he would laugh. He thought that was a big joke.
All his brothers would laugh too. They would celebrate anniversaries together.
And I think I've got this right, that one 4th of July, I'm not sure, I mentioned this to Phyllis this morning, that if it was when they were dating, the 4th of July, before they got married or after they were married, that they were going to celebrate, they were going to go celebrate, and they had one dime to spend between the two of them. Have I got that right?
They lived the first, I don't know how long, but for several months after they were married, they lived with Grandpa and Grandma Kuiper, with Mom's parents. Oh, a year, Arnie says. And Arnie, they met because Dad was Grandpa Kuiper's hired man, right? That was when they started dating. They did go to the same church too.
Yeah, they did. And we also have Dad's suit here, and that is just as good as can be. I can't believe it. I mean, after, well, we figured it out, 81 years that they were married. November 11, 1931, they were married, so.
80 years.
80 years. Oh yeah, we'll be 81 then. Okay. Good.
Okay, thank you. And we do not have anything of Richard and Anna, so I don't know if anybody has anything to share. I guess Ann. Sarah would probably be the only one if you've heard anything. I don't have to. Okay. Okay, that's all. I can take care of this part of it. I think Mom has a couple of letters. She's been cleaning stuff and going through things, and she's found a couple of letters she thought might be of interest that she's going to read.
Yeah, these are old letters. This one is written in 1928. And Grandpa wrote this. Let's see, I'll start on page 2. This is Tuesday evening today. Was a nice weather. We hauled off hogs today. Yesterday 1 load and today 2. We had bad luck today. Forenoon Charles hauled a load. He brought one home again. It had a leg broken. Afternoon Garrett went and he lost 2 hogs. The end gate came out by Andrew Runnings. He never noticed it till he was a couple miles further. A plug came out of the engine and let the water run out, so he had to put a wooden plug in and get water to fill the radiator. So he let the top end gate down and went on to Stickney. Now tomorrow they will have to pick them up again and take them to town. Sure hard luck. We hauled off 29, they averaged about 245. I'm reading it just the way they wrote it. We got 7 cents today. Yesterday, 7.10, an awful poor price. You remember yet when you were home and we sold hogs, I would give each of you a small amount. I'm going to do that now too. I will put a small check in this letter for a present. It's bedtime. Goodbye, Pa.
Who was that to?
That was to Richard. And I suppose at that time he was in Myrtle?
Chicago.
Or Chicago, maybe.
Or Chicago,
Yeah, it doesn't say just where. And then, this is to Richard in 1939. That's from Grandpa too. Dear Richard, Anna, and Ellen, I will visit you folks with a little while. Ma has her part of the letter formed, and I want to add a few lines too. Today is June 1st. That was an important day for you, and not less important for us. You were our firstborn, and I remember so well yet what a thrill it gave us when you were born. We were young then, Ma especially. She says she was 21. Now she just told me I was 29, but I don't believe it all. And then there's some Dutch, and I don't know. One word I could make out, knappen. If you know what knappen means in Dutch, well, I won't explain it. I said we got such a thrill when you were born, but to tell the truth, it was a thrill every time a little one was born. Although it meant more hard work, especially for Mom, still they were always welcome, and we were very happy. And we are still very happy that we have so many children. I said happy, but we are so thankful too that they are healthy in body and mind, and that they have grown up to be good Christians and also good citizens. I said what a thrill it was when they were born, and see them grow and grow up, and also what a support they can be in our old age. We ain't so old yet. And this is a letter that's when the brothers and sisters took turns to write to Gideon and William and Richard. They had to send, had their schedule. But this was one that Nellie wrote to, I believe it was to Richard. I just made a copy of the last page. Anyway, this is what Nellie wrote to Richard. Recently, while Mary Ann was working on the floor with a nurse's aide who had been there 12 years, this was in Mitchell Hospital, Mary Ann asked her if she remembered Mrs. Wolbrink being a patient there. She asked if Mary Ann meant the Mrs. Wolbrink from Stickney. She recalled it so distinctly. It was a large family. There were 2 missionaries or ministers in the family. Her death had been so different from any she had ever seen. Never complained, was so peaceful, and so forth. It has surely made an impression on her. And that's what Nellie wrote, what Mary Ann had said. That's it. Oh, there's one thing I got on the table in the back here. Grandma Wolbrink, I guess, taught Sunday school for years. And there was an old church herald that Phyllis had gotten from somebody in Sanborn that they had seen a Mrs. Wolbrink name. And of course, she knew she was a Wolbrink, so they gave it to Phyllis. And the church honored her for teaching so many years. And I want to say they gave her one of these pots, a pan, cooking kettle that was copper bottom with a lid. And they gave her that as a gift for teaching for all those years. I'm still using that pot, and that pan and cover. It's a good one.
Okay, Merlin, you have some DVDs that you've made, selling, or gonna make?
I'm gonna make.
You wanna talk? You got a price you'd like to have for them, or a donation, or?
I'm taking donations. I'm taking donations for them because they're not professional and they're not edited, but it has stuff that's interesting from all these reunions, except one of them that I didn't record. Couldn't find the videos for it, so. But I have the first reunion on the table over there. I think we made 30 of them, 30 copies of DVDs of the very first cousin reunion, and they're on the table over there. And then there's a piece of paper there that you can fill out if you want some of these other ones. And then I'm going to send them to you as I have time to make them of other cousin reunions. So.
Okay, thanks. Merlin? Dave, you want to talk about your genealogy?
Yeah, just briefly. I need help. I need help in the form of information from all of you for the 4th and 5th and 6th, if there is, generations. The first generation would be Jacob and Hattie. The second generation would be the 10 children. The third generation would be what is known as the cousins. And there are a lot of them there. If you go and take a look, you can take a, I don't want to take any time at this tonight. I do want to give you work. I want to give you homework. And I have over there a paperclip section for each family. I have return envelopes with my address on. I'm doing all of it for you except 2 items. You got to put the information in and you put a stamp on the envelope. And an easy way to do it is to look at these 2 trees, or these 2 printouts here. This is a tree going down to the 6th generation. And you can just scan down there and see who's missing. That's quite easy to look at. This long one here, I guess Junior and Charles' family didn't choose a hall with a high enough ceiling, so we had to put it up diagonally. But that list is all of the descendants that I have a record of, and I know it's very short. I'm very short of names. So I can tell you this, that what I do have is that so far in generation 4, I have 95 and 58 spouses. In Generation 5, I have 87. And in Generation 6, I have 8. And I know there are more. Also, some of those who are like Uncle Garrett's family, we've lost 3 cousins already, and if you would help with their families, either by giving it to them and sending it back to me, or whatever you want to do. Now, is there anyone here who's not going to be at the picnic tomorrow? In the interest of time, if you're going to be at the picnic, I'll take these things along and just give them to you. And I don't want to take any more time. My idea is that the oldest in each family, generally speaking, has the responsibility of passing around to the rest of them. I can break them up too, but if you'd help me, I would really appreciate it.
Phyllis and Karen, quit looking at me. All right. Schedule for the rest of the weekend. Tomorrow, coffee is going to be on at 10 o'clock. Francis is going to put the coffee pot on. I believe Karen and Marley are camping out there too, plus I see a couple more campers out there, so there will be coffee at 10. Dinner, lunch, whatever you want to call it, will be at 12 o'clock. And just nothing really planned after that, just social time, visiting. Sunday, 9 o'clock, coffee pot will be on again. And 10 o'clock, we'll have a service. I think Dean is going to bring us a message. We've got some various special music, other things going on. Please bring your own chairs or a chair for a lawn chair type deal for the service. And afterwards, we'll have sandwich bar, sandwiches, meats, cheeses, lunch. And you're welcome to stick around and visit some more, or if you need to get going, that's fine, that's understandable too. So, the next reunion, I guess we want to keep going 3 years like we are. I guess the order next up, if I got it right anyway, would be Aunt Sarah's family and Uncle William's family. So if that's okay with them, or I guess the floor would be open for suggestions if we want to switch the orders around. If you don't like who you're working with and you want to. I think we're on the same rotation, so you did it, last time we did it with Arnie or with Uncle Charles's family. And, it's going to be the same deal again next time. So if that's all right to keep going, that's great. Okay. Only one suggestion I would have would be next time when they send out the emails, the locals need to respond too on. I know Karen was talking about that. The locals, everybody just figured, well, we'll be there. But sometimes somebody isn't there. So if the locals would respond too, would be helpful. And I guess you all got name tags. We'll have some more next days too. But asking everyone to wear name tags when you're there. There will be some more people tomorrow that are not here tonight. So it's good to have the name tags on. So if yours will still stick, bring yours, or otherwise we'll get you another one tomorrow. So, Karen's got some prizes, I guess. So we want to do that, and then I think it's time for ice cream. Oh, Sarah's got something.
Something I think that's interesting, and that is of the 10 children, they got married in age from the oldest to the youngest. When I was studying the genealogy, that's exactly how they got married, from the oldest to the youngest. Something else I'd like to say is, if I want to give this to Ken a minute, we sure appreciate everything that David is doing with genealogy. But Ken has spent a lot of time going back And there's a great big thick book that he's going to tell about.
My research has kind of been the opposite of what Dave has been doing. In that I've been going back in time rather than to the more recent generations. I belong to Ancestry.com, which is, if any of you are into genealogy, you know, is the world's largest genealogical collection. Actually, is the Mormon Church in Salt Lake City. So all of the information that I have found, I have not had verification for. People put, when they find information, they put it onto their family tree on Ancestry.com, and they don't always add the information. And one of the problems for me is that you don't have to go very far generations until you're back in the Netherlands. And I don't speak Dutch, and Harry doesn't speak Dutch very well either, or don't know very much. So some of the records are in Dutch and different things. But I have a book over there, both for the Dijksters and also for the Wolbrinks, but more of the Wolbrinks. And going back as far as I can, the Wolbrink family, the farthest ancestors go back is really through the Vanderscore family. Grandma Wolbrink's mother was a Vanderscore, and she was from Old Beach, Ireland in South Holland. And some of those go back as far as 26 generations, and to about the year 1100, almost 1,000 years. So, and they can go far. I haven't done all of the research. There's still more information to collect. So if you'd like to look at the book over there, you're welcome to do that. There's what's called pedigree sheets. Sounds like your dogs or something, but nonetheless, that's what they call them in genealogy. And it's a chart that shows beginning with one person and going back 5 generations. And then it's set up so that you can also go from there back the next 5 generations, the next, and the next, and the next. There's also family charts, or family information charts, where it takes a particular family, lists their children, their spouses, and so on. And that information is there as well. I don't have family charts for all of them because that would take a lot longer time than what I had to do this. And so, anyway, you're welcome to look at it. So they go over there on the table next to David's things, and ask me any questions you'd like to. Thank you.
I mentioned that I have 2 brothers and my sister's coming also, and just because I'm a minister, I'm not going to preach a sermon on Sunday alone. I'm going to go to each family and have one representative of each of the families participate in the service with me on Sunday. And so it'll be several doing this thing together. And I wasn't sure how to organize that, but I'll go around doing a picnic, and I'll be nailing a few of you to help me, okay?
If you want to be on the road early, you probably better let Dean know. He warned us that when he gets the microphone, that he could be in trouble, so.
We'll keep you there until Monday.
Okay, we just put together a few fun little prizes. It's just different ways for us to get to know each other a little bit. Most of us, I mean, we see each other every 3 years. Some of us see each other on the street, but we got some from the next generations, and I think it's great to have more people come. And so this is a way maybe we can just get to know each other a little bit, find out some things of our lifestyles, where we come from, and that sort of thing. So we want to know who traveled through the most states to get here tonight. The most states. Now, we're not talking the most miles. We want to know the most state lines that you crossed to get here tonight.
Anybody more than 6? We got
Michael?
2 countries.
To get here tonight?
Yeah.
Dean says 7.
7 states.
We were talking states. Well, maybe get to you, Michael. 7? To Dean.
We didn't have to, but he got lost.
Did he stop and ask for directions?
You got that too?
And then the oldest person here tonight. I think maybe most of us know that one, but we want to recognize her anyway. The oldest person here tonight. That's Aunt Lorraine. Who is the youngest one here tonight?
Elsa June left. She's just a year old. She's sleeping. Yeah.
Oh, well, good for her. We got a juice box for her. She can enjoy it tomorrow morning when she wakes up. 1 year. And then who's been married the longest? I think we know who that is too. That's Uncle Orville and Aunt Sarah. I know Uncle Orville likes chocolate, so. And how many years has it been that you've been married?
61.
61. Of the 10 siblings, who has the most represented here tonight? We're talking like, you know, Uncle William's family, Uncle Gideon's family. Who has the most represented here tonight? I think that's Aunt Sarah's family too. We got a bag of Tootsie Rolls they can share. But I'm not sure how many they have. I guess they were up here. I hope there's enough to go around. Of the second generation of Grandpa and Grandma being the first generation, who is the youngest? I think that's Mom. We got a bag of candies for Mom too. Yeah. So now of the third generation that we call the cousins generation, who is the oldest? That's Joyce. We got a roll of mints for her too. Joyce's.
She won't admit it.
Who has the most years of formal education? And we're talking formal education. We're not talking the School of Hard Knocks or something like that. Daniel? How many you got, Daniel?
14.
Can anybody beat that?
Well, I think Joe Rankin here has been in college since the day he got out of high school. I was 8th grade valedictorian 2 years in a row. Kindergarten.
Maybe Joe can tutor you. We got some Smarties for Dan.
I don't recommend it.
Who has, we want some of the kids 12 and under for this one. Who has a birthday closest to today? So it could be 6 weeks ago, or it could be coming up in 6 weeks.
Be the one sleeping.
Oh, he's sleeping.
August 25th, this is.
Okay. We got a birthday hat for
Sorry,
him.
I get up, but I can't move.
And now, 13 and up, who has a birthday closest to today? Any of you? Samantha, when's your birthday?
August 19th.
July 22.
July 22? Whose was that? Joyce.
I don't want to.
Well, we got some birthday candles for you. Who came the farthest to be here this weekend? Or who traveled the most miles to get here this weekend?
They took a long way around there.
Started out in North.
Money. Well, we're going to give them, is it Ken and Harriet? We got a little money for them. They might need a little money yet before they get back home. Who came in the oldest car here tonight? Who came here in the oldest car?
It's not a car. A 1977.
Anything older than a 1977? Okay, that goes to Michael. Michael was bound and determined to get a prize. We got a new convertible for him. So who came in the newest car? Anybody coming in 2011? A 10?
These are Dutch people.
And they're Wolbrinks. An 09? Nobody in 2008? Okay, who has the least miles on it?
You got a prize for these rich folks who came in 2000? 19.
Fewer than 19? 19,000, yes. All right, that goes to Steve and Diana. They got a bag of gold nuggets. They can afford such a new car.
I want it red.
For some reason, that don't surprise me. Who has the most rings on tonight? 4. Anybody got more than 4? 3? 4? Anybody got more than 4?
How about the biggest one?
Okay, goes to Fran. Fran, we'll give her another ring. Give her a ring pop. Who's been school shopping most recently? Any of your kids got their school shopping done?
I think it was just yesterday.
Wow. Zoe, we got a tablet for her. You can add that to your supplies. Now we need the person here that is over 50, this is for just the over 50-year-olds, with the least gray hair. Now you can't, if you dye your hair, you're disqualified. The least gray hair.
What if you can't tell?